Until you do that work, until you are honest with yourself and sit with yourself and say, okay, what do I need to do? How can I change my own circumstance? Until that happens, then nothing else will change. Assalamu Alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I am the Daily Muslima, and I truly hope that this video finds you all in the best of health and iman. So today's topic will be a little bit of a rant that I have been thinking about lately. I just want to talk about how it breaks my heart to see women not choosing themselves. It really causes me so much pain and truly just heartbreak. It's very heartbreaking to see a woman, especially women that you're close to, constantly make decisions that center other people that do not benefit them in the long run. Was inspired to make this video after just observing some of the women in my life that I am close with. And this has just been something I'm thinking about. I recently had a conversation with someone who I'm very, very close with. Just made me realize that this person is just not in a position to choose herself. And it made me very, very sad because this is someone that I grew up with. We went to middle school together. We were very, very close. We lived down the street from each other for most of our middle school and high school years. I even moved states to be closer to this person. It just pains me to see that we're the same age. I'm 27. Pains me to see how, different paths play out. And especially when you grow up with someone and maybe you've had conversations with them in the past about decisions that other women have made, and you've talked to them about how that could never be me, that will never happen to us, or I can't believe that this thing is happening to this person. And then to see it happening to someone that I'm very close to, someone that, again, I had these conversations with, it really breaks my heart and it makes me sad. So today I just want to talk about how, as a woman especially, we always have to, one, center God. And I say that as a Muslim woman, but if you're not Muslim, you have to center yourself, center your relationship with whatever you want to call it. Through centering God, you will center yourself, and that will stop you from making a lot of decisions that will ultimately harm you in the long run. Majority of the women I see who end up in these very awful situations, a lot of it has to do with the inability or the unwillingness to make hard decisions, and that is something that is not talked about enough, I think. In this life, as a woman of color, there are times when we will have to make very hard decisions, and ultimately those decisions will bring us to a better version of ourselves, bring us closer to our goals. But those things are hard, right? And I see a lot of women staying in the same spot because it's comfortable, because it's familiar, and you can see it eating away at them. And it's so sad to see. It really breaks my heart. I was just talking to my aunt about this, but she went through a divorce, and it was really hard for her to stand up and say, I'm not going to take this, and I'm going to move on with my life. And I was talking to her about how difficult that must have been, but now she's in such a better place. And if she didn't make that hard decision then, she would be miserable. And she was talking to me about this, and she agreed with me. Doing hard things really does keep so many women, unfortunately, stuck in positions where they're just shrinking and becoming smaller and smaller. And I hate to see it. I truly hate to see it. And every single time a woman comes to me asking for marriage advice or just life advice in general, my immediate response is, you have to work on yourself first. You have to build routines with yourself. You have to put yourself first before you can even think about trying to bring another person into the picture. I look at women that came before me who didn't have the choice, and maybe were in positions where they were not allowed to discover themselves as women before they became mothers, before they became wives. And we see it play out now as they're in their 40s and 50s, and they're just miserable with their lives. They're trying to cover it up, saying that they're fine and they turned out fine, and all the things that they sacrifice for other people. And they kind of wear it as a badge of honor that they always put others first. And now they're in positions where they're tired and they want to be taken care of, and they want to be seen as, that softness. They want to be allowed that. But a lot of them are not ready to make the hard decision to say, okay, let me take a hard look at my life and see in what ways and what areas I have allowed certain things to happen that I could have prevented. A lot of women, older women, do not want to, and they're not even they're, I say older, but 40 and 50 is not old at all. I see so many of these women are now in a place where they're just comfortable, and they've been comfortable for 2, 3 decades. And the change is scary. Change is very scary. Unfamiliarity, I don't even know if that's a word, but it's extremely, extremely scary. A lot of these women, again, they're comfortable because it's familiar, but we cannot, as women, let that temporary comfort and temporary feeling of familiarity stop us from ultimately doing what is going to be best for us and best for our souls. Because staying in a position and staying in a place where you constantly have to make yourself smaller, you feel like you're not being fulfilled, you feel like there's always something more that you want, but you can't get it because of XYZ, all you're doing is harming yourself and harming your soul. Unfortunately, I've heard a lot, especially from older women, that everything is kind of happening to them, right? Life did this to them. And while that might be true, there's also a point where nothing is going to change if nothing changes. And in the Quran, it says Allah does not change a condition of a people until they first change what is in themselves. That couldn't be more true. You cannot expect your environment or other people around you to just magically change, wake up one day and magically start treating you differently, or wake up one day and finally start listening to you. Until you do that work, until you are honest with yourself and sit with yourself and say, okay, what do I need to do? How can I change my own circumstance? Until that happens, then nothing else will change. It makes me so sad to see women, young women, women in their 20s, in their 30s, who just making themselves small, just struggling and suffering because they're refusing to make a few hard decisions. Or sometimes all it takes is one really hard decision to get your life back. I was talking to my husband about this as well, that time from making the decision to getting to the other side, there's a period in between there of solitude and loneliness often that occurs. And I think that's what most people are afraid of. They want to either take everyone through the door with them, or they're afraid to step through that door alone because, one, they don't know what's on the other side, and two, they know that there's no one else over there. There might not be anyone else over there. Making a hard decision sometimes means cutting off all of the friends that you've known for years, or finally leaving a relationship that you've had 5 kids in. There's a period of time in between making that decision and receiving the fruits of your labor that I think a lot of women don't want to go through. And it's crucial. That period in between is crucial. And I remember a few years ago, when I first decided that I wanted to start living my life a little differently. I wanted to redefine what I thought of as fun. I decided to become sober. And I remember the isolation I felt because people that I used to hang out with, now we can no longer relate. I'm no longer going out to the party, and I'm no longer consuming substances. And so there's a period of time where I didn't have any friends really, and it was very lonely. It was very isolating. But through that, I had to learn how to be with myself. I had to learn how to sit with my thoughts, how to process my thoughts and emotions. And that's scary in itself, because when you've been constantly surrounding yourself with distractions, with the same people for years and years and years, you learn in that system how to numb and how to bury down those emotions. And then when you're finally able to hear yourself think, everything starts to come out. And it's during that period when a lot of women turn back and they're like, oh no, this is too scary. I'm going to go back. And the cycle just starts all over again. But if you just hold out a little longer and you learn how to sit with yourself, you learn how to process your thoughts and emotions, you will get to a point where you are now on the other side, and now you can begin attracting people who are like-minded like you. Now you can begin attracting healthier relationships and using those tools that you built and that you found and discovered when you were in that period of solitude. It's through that phase in the middle where you learn the most about yourself and about the world around you. And through that is where the magic happens. But unfortunately, it's up to you to take that first step. No one is coming to save you. And I think that's unfortunately a hard pill to swallow for a lot of women. Oh, if I get married, it'll be better. Oh, if I just do this, then life will be better. But no one is coming to save you. You must put your boots on the ground, move your arms and legs, and build the life that you want for yourself. You must lean on your creator. You must look in the mirror and be honest and have honest, hard conversations with yourself. And does it feel good? No, heck no. If it did, we would all be doing it. But it is a necessary point and a necessary process if you want to be the best version that Allah has granted for you. So yes, I just wanted to come on here and talk about this. Obviously, it's something I'm very passionate about, and I said I need to sit down and make a video about this and talk about this. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for clicking on my channel, especially if you made it to the end of this video. If you like the video, be sure to like the video and comment down below, what are one of the hardest pills to swallow that you've had to swallow in your adult life, or wherever you are in life in your journey? What is one of the hard truths that you've unfortunately had to learn and overcome? Please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Once again, I am the Daily Muslima, and I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu Alaikum.